Okay, thank you ever so much for joining me today. It's it's a really interesting one, and I'm quite excited to learn a lot more about this. Um, let's start with introductions. Andrei, who are you?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Hi, I'm Andrei. I'm CEO of UGC Ninja. I'm just true ninja, I'm living in Bali, and it's my first podcast, ever.
Amazing. So you are the ninja. So I've come to the right people.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He's definitely a whole ninja behind that, a founder, CEO, and like mastermind, I would say, and a true visionary.
Ross, what do you? Who are you? What do you do?
Hey everyone, I'm Ross Simo, ex-creative director, person keen on working with creative strategies and stuff. This is not my first podcast, but I'm still nervous as hell.
And Renata.
Yeah,
I think
hell
everyone who goes to conferences knows you, but
yeah. Yeah, hello. My name is Renata. I'm a proud member of UGC Ninja and well known as a head of PR and the marketing communications team. So here's for me.
amazing. Okay, let's start with a very, very, very simple question, or it's simple for you guys, not so simple for me. Like, what are we talking about when we say UGC?
Great question. I'm not sure
what
we're gonna have this definition.
Okay, hang on. From my perspective, let me just give an idea of what
Let's see.
my projection of UGC is. Right, so. I've heard loads and loads of people talking about it on LinkedIn, on everywhere else, of like UGC is the way to go. Everyone is excited about UGC videos. It's the new big thing. It's the thing that's getting lots of click-throughs, everything else for the ads. Every time I see it, I kind of feel it's either an AI person or a person actually stood there talking about the product, the game, whatever it may be, maybe a bit of gameplay footage, that kind of thing, and just trying to sell it as kind of like an influencer would. Like, when you're watching an influencer video on one of the games, it comes up and there's sort of somebody there talking you through the first part of the game, or how to start playing it, what all of the stuff means, that kind of thing. What's your take?
Anyone wants to start?
You go ahead. I'll continue.
So, first of all, I'd say that let's realize the difference between UGC and UGC-like. So basically, UGC user-generated content is any type of content that our users create and post, and there might be like a certain way of motivating them or not, doesn't matter. So they do it on their own. We are more about UGC-like ads. So when it's still created by real people, potential users or current users of the product, but it's like controlled and motivated by a creative partner or a brand itself, or a creative team and stuff. So it's kind of like real content, but being still in control of someone from the brand's side.
Okay, so you're effectively replicating what would be effectively a social post, and you're manufacturing that for a company to use as an ad.
Yep, kind of.
Okay, and like, how does it? Who can benefit from it? Like, I mean, my history is social casino. I've worked on mobile social casino for a long time. Like, does it work there? Is there specific use cases or specific genres that it would work better for?
Definitely there is a correlation. So generally, like UGC can work for any type of product. But there is a huge factor that affects the result is how it's going to be executed after we produced it, because it can be like classic UI performance, it can be about sitting, it can be adding kind of a social proof to your website and stuff. So there is a way to implement UGC to any industry, to any product, but it depends a lot on how we are going to work with it afterwards.
Okay. And I guess the next question is how well does it actually work? And like, does it Andrei, I guess a question for you. Does it, when you look at different networks, and we've got user acquisition guys that are running campaigns across multiple different networks. Will it just work across everything, or is there a specific, do you need to approach it in a specific way for specific networks? Like, will Facebook work differently to TikTok, for instance, or does it all work exactly the same with one miracle creative?
Good question. Generally it works good on TikTok first. On Facebook, it's the two platforms where UGC can perform very well. But I've seen some cases, some apps. This guy use AppLovin for UGC. It works very well also. Yeah, but
okay, interesting. Like running the ads in other games, that kind of thing.
yeah.
Mm.
Because AppLovin for now, I guess, is number one for games.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I guess TikTok and Facebook is first.
Okay, interesting.
We also have Google, and we are like YouTube.
Google just starting,
they're just starting, but there is a way to use it as well.
But TikTok investment in this type of content a lot. They have many teams who can help brands to increase their performance. They try to do some workshops for them, to help them to produce it, to invest money. I think TikTok invests 10 times more than other players. That's
I guess it fits beautifully with TikTok, doesn't it? I mean, it replicates what the content is on TikTok, but this time it's paid. It's kind of perfect for that environment. That's why I was wondering how well it sort of ports across to other platforms.
I would say it really depends, and it's all about the testing. We see like companies, sometimes one creative can perform on any type of platform, even Steam, even like, something really random that you would never even think about. But sometimes, some creatives are performing best only on TikTok, sometimes only on Meta, for example, Instagrams. Also, there are different placements, right? Of course, there are resizes that you need to take into account, right? And also the specifics of how people do engage with your content on different platforms as well. But Andrew is right. We do notice that there is a massive shift to the AppLovin networks and the similar ones as well. I think since the last summer, we do see a lot of companies starting to test and put heavily the UGC creatives on such platforms as well and see a good performance.
That's
something I would say relatively new, I would say. Yeah. But I would also note that UGC Ninja started to do creatives UGC before it became mainstream and before you
before it became cool.
Before you saw like all the flood of the UGC content on LinkedIn, that's for sure.
But I'm guessing the reason why you started with it was because it was you could see that it was a good way of getting people to click through, right? I mean, you're looking at ways to improve creative, and this was a really good way of improving creative to make people want to click on it, right?
The story is actually interesting. I think Andrei can tell about how he started with UGC Ninja because he had an app previously.
Yeah. I will try, but sometimes I can. It's different to find the right way to explain because my English not very well. I will try. Okay.
I'll get you back. I'll get you back.
Yeah. Thank you. Actually, I did the content, maybe from very beginning of my career. I ran some companies. We recorded and some films for different companies. We did some advertising, and after that, we did mobile application. It was a fail for us, and we decided to close our company. We did many contents there. We had many, many people who can create something. We did it on Fiverr, and actually we tried to find some good creatives for our mobile application, but it was difficult. We cannot scale more than $10,000. That's it. And I met some guy who tried to sell UGC content for me, and I said him, "Wow, why so expensive?" It was around maybe $3,000 per 3 or 4 videos. He told me, "Come on, this is good price for you. All market sell it." And yeah, idea comes from there, and I decided, okay, we can do it by ourselves. And I asked my teams to produce some 3 or 4 videos for us, and perform was very well. And what I did, I just sell one package for some brands, I told them, okay, we can do that. Let's do the contract. Yeah, it's our first client. Then I tried to check market. I found some groups on Facebook. Y Combinator, some guys from Y Combinator, alumni from Y Combinator, and I post there, hey, I have some list of creators, maybe 1,000 creators who can produce some videos for you who need it. And I got maybe 400 comments there, and it was all of my leads, and
everyone desperate for it.
yeah, it was maybe 3 years ago, or yeah, I guess so.
So yeah. right at the very beginning of like the UGC movement.
Then. Yeah. And after that, we got some 2 or 3 contracts, and it was so fast because we was in a community of mobile apps or mobile apps in general, and I just chat with my friends, do you need it? Yeah, we need it, let's do that.
Yeah. And as soon as people see something working, everybody wants to be in on that as well. I mean, that's generally speaking, that's how marketing works.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was so fast, so fast. Our first $10,000 was our first month. Yeah.
I remember that we had the first contracts in like early February, and by the end of the year, we got over 25, I think.
25 contracts?
Yeah, I think that was scaled really fast in the first year.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe 25 or something, but I remember that was a huge scale just in 1 year, in the first year.
And do you have customers coming back, repeat business, the sort of coming back for different iterations of different videos, different content, that kind of thing, different creators?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, we're all about it. Because as I mentioned, marketing is about iterations, and the best result can be achieved only through having long-term relationships. It means that we don't have just like one shot to test, to try. Mm-hmm. It's about that, hey, let's do it in iteration from the very beginning. So, and I can say that the most successful examples of long-term relationships we've got like some really big gaming clients, and we've been working together over 24 months.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure once people find something that works, they generally stick with it. So.
I think it's also a lot about building relationship, and I think Andrei is quite a pro in it. And we also do a lot of extra benefits for these companies, not only producing the ads, but also doing educational workshops like brainstorms, merging the team together, because we see the best results are achieved when we are working together, not like as a separate outbound agency, but an integrated, I would say, division of UGC production into the teams of the companies.
Okay, so sorry, go on.
Our main vision, nobody knows magic pills how to find the best creatives, and I think the management first. We just try to help our partners to test different approaches. Sometimes, yeah, because nobody knows magic pills. I guess that's why
Yeah.
management was here.
Yeah. It's very clear that there's no silver bullet at this moment. But so like, how does it work then? So, what would you suggest? So, say I've got a game studio, right? And I start talking to you. How do I begin with this? Let's say, I've seen quite a few companies that have one creative that they know that works incredibly well, and every time they try something else, they don't see the same results as they see with this one creative that they've tried. So it starts to make people quite scared about trying something new because they've not managed to replicate the success of the one creative. So how would you approach it? So like let's just start from the beginning. If I start talking to you from a game studio, how do you help me come up with a way of being able to produce something?
How much marketing spend do you have right now?
Enough to do some A/B tests.
How much? 10,000, 20,000?
Let's go more than that. Let's say about 50K.
You don't need to do UGC content right now, I guess.
And then our recommendation would be, hey, we have a great flow of testing something new at scale, AIGC, which is going to be a good option if you spend on big at the moment, but you still want to test, you still want to find something new. I mean, okay, that's going to be the best choice for you.
But
Okay,
I think
so
you should find.
Let's take it. Hang on. Let's start again at that point. Let's say instead of saying 50K, let's say the company spend, user acquisition company spend, is about $1 million a month. Like, what are we looking at? Where do we start?
I'd say first, of course, we're going to have a look at what genre it is, because UGC works differently with different genres. Whether it's going to be hyper casual, mid-core, hardcore,
brain games,
yeah, true. That's the first point. The second point, before we say to you any proposals and any ideas on how to work with it, we're going to have a talk with the creative team. We're going to perform research to see what's the latest news and the latest mechanics working in it, and then we're going to come up with an idea. Hey, I mean, we see that this and this working, let's try these. But if you want to and if you're ready to invest more budget in it, I'd say the proposal is going to be about two things. Let's work with the patterns and the mechanics that work in the industry and work for you. Let's iterate them. And the other one would be about experimenting, because there are like two great sources of inspiration. The first is organic content. Here we speak about trends, local trends, global trends. We can try to catch the audience from the perspective what they are interested in. Because like for example, TikTok is a great SEO platform at the moment, right? And we can just like turn it 180 degrees and come up from the other side, not about the game, but what our audience interested in, and then merge it with the game.
But that's half of it, though, because you would presumably need to work with me to identify the demographic that I'm going after for my game, so that you can then build content that hits that demographic, right?
Yep. So basically, it's going to work like this. We're going to have like a kickoff, like an intro call with you, talking about like, hey, what you guys do, what's the gender, what's the demographic, what markets you focus on. So getting like the card of the product, right, and the request. And after that, we're going to invest some resources in it on our side. As I said, we're going to like do some research to see what works, to develop the plan that we're going to like offer to you. And basically, sorry, go ahead.
But at first we should understand how many ads we will do, because if you have $1 million per month, you can okay, it's all of your budget, and but you can spend maybe $100,000 per test. It's 10% is okay. And in our vision that if you spend $100,000 for tests, you can spend maybe 10 or 30% for creatives for it. And that means that we have budget around 15K till 30K. It's not all about UGC. You will test banners, screencasts, misleads, etc., gameplays. Yeah, that means maybe UGC will be maybe 30% from that. It's around 10,000K. We have 10,000K, and after that we will do brief kickoff call, and we will decide how many creatives we will do for 10K.
How many creatives, like, if I wanted to start with UGC, how many creatives would you say that I would actually need in order to, to safely be able to say whether it would work for me or not?
It's all about success rate,
Yeah.
If our goal that success rate could be maybe 10 or 25%, that's why we should try maybe 10 or 12 videos per first package.
Okay. And in terms of measurement, like, how does that, presumably, what are you looking for when you say success? I'm interested to know what success is, because success can be different things to different studios, right?
Yeah.
Here, I'd say it's going to be about benchmarks. I mean, we definitely have a clear goal, but it might be, it varies based on the stage. So, for example, if we're going to create UGC content from scratch, it's going to be the very first test for you, right? Let's focus on the upper funnel. Let's see how it's going to work in terms of CDR and CR2 installs. If it's not going to be the very first test for you, so you've tried UGC before, you had some tests in-house, make it content in-house, you definitely have some benchmarks, have some numbers of what you want to achieve with the content, right? And then at the pre-production stage, we say, hey, I mean, the KPI is going to be just like ROAS, or let's put the focus on the retention rate. Due to our monetization system.
It's funny, this is a big argument I've had for years and years and years about whether a creative can change ROAS within a game or not. But what's your perspective on this?
About it. So we've got a great example of how creatives affected the retention rate.
Retention, really? Creative actually affecting the retention?
Yeah, so there was a case study published. I think Renata can share it as well. That was for YA Games. So the product was a huge online casual games catalog with like thousands of games. Yeah. And so we worked with several iterations. For the first iteration, we focused just on the upper funnel, like CTR, clicks, the CPA and stuff, like to see just how people react and how they get the message about the product. And but the retention rate was quite poor. It wasn't meeting the benchmarks. And for the second iteration, what we did, we just focused the message around how many games it has, and how can I spend hours playing it, and how can I find a game for me? How my friend can, my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, and stuff. And after testing the second iteration, we figured out that retention rate, I don't remember the exact numbers, so we can share the case study about it. But the retention rate was much better because we just focused the message around it.
And you think that's because in the creative you're showing multiple titles, which is giving people the impression in their head that they can play multiple different things rather than just the first game that they come up on.
Yeah, this is my hypothesis, and that was the only UGC format that we tested, and we saw how the cohort of users was behaving differently in the game, and that was just about how we presented it.
Yeah,
how the message was built.
Wow, so, that's interesting. That's kind of changed my whole perspective on this, to be honest.
Well, that's something new for today. Well,
But
I
that
would
result can be achieved only through iterations, not from the first try. It's super.
And by iterations, are you talking A/B testing? Like, what's the best way of introducing one of these to begin with? Should you be looking at, I don't know, click-through rate in comparison to the standard creative that you're using at the moment, or like how would you introduce a new creative?
Anyone?
well,
Or me?
I would just add that when you're doing starting with UGC ads, don't try to, replace your current ads with UGC ads. I would say it's introducing a new flow. It's a new type of creatives, right? So don't try to compete with what you already have, but try to set your own benchmarks that you'll be satisfied with. Also, I would just add that
But
usually
wouldn't you use the creatives that you have at the moment as your benchmark of performance, though, right?
that is
I mean, you'd
good.
have to.
Yeah, of course. But the I would say wrong approach is, try to come up with something that will hit your benchmarks and, set the new ones from the scratch, right? But rather than add to it. Also, UGC ads are not well known for cheap installs, for example, right? Because it's also another type of betting that goes through the testing, etc. But it's better for the better LTV because
Yeah.
as you'll see, for example, in the markets, a lot of people are saying how hard is it to do a user acquisition because you cannot track your audience, you cannot understand their flow and etc. But that's how creative can help you through your funnel by attracting more relevant audience that it will speak to it, and that's how UGC, for example, can be more applicable.
Yeah, and also I'd add, let's keep it realistic. If you have a gameplay top performer, it's creating UGC is not about beating it. It's about testing another approach. And Renata mentioned a great point that it's just about different ways of working with our users. We've got a great example, not from gaming, but from dating. When we created a batch of ads for them, and there's also a case study about it. So the CTR was about 15 or 20% worse than the benchmark. And when I was checking the results, I was at first oh God, we fucked it up. Let's be honest, right? Because the CTR is awful.
Yeah.
But going through the funnel, worse CTR, worse conversion rates, but the purchase rate of the users who came to that point was 90% better.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, we nailed that.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
Some our clients do UGC not only because of performance, because it's more hard to copy that.
Yeah.
It's too hard. Sometimes it's too hard to copy that ads. Then you can do some gameplay in a few days. It's so fast to copy that. That's why sometimes they ask us to do that, not only because they want to hit their benchmark. They want to find some ads which can take some spend by itself, because it helps them that their benchmark not burn out so fast. That's why.
Yeah. That's interesting. And I guess it opens up to a different, or it could open up to a different audience as well. Like the people that UGC resonates with may not be your target demographic, but they may actually resonate with your app more.
Exactly. And you actually can bring some new audience to it through, for example, the image of the creator, right? Because we could say that for some genres or for some games, like for example, maybe Crazy Sexy Latina will work out best, for example, for promoting. But for other type of games, maybe a cozy next door girl will actually, for example, resonate more. So it's really about, picking the right creators as well, and the messaging that you add to it. Also about, testing and, applying maybe some crazy tests. I would say at least we can use a rule of thumb, right, where you have at least like 4 out of 5 concepts that are proven by the market, for example, by previous tests, but always add in at least one, like, like 20%, I would say, right, of the concepts, maybe outside of box, risky ideas to stay on the top of the market, because you cannot, do something great and cool if you're only doing what is market doing, but unless you're trying something.
So what's something what's an out of the box one that's working at the moment, or that you've seen working at the moment? Can you give us something?
Ross, on mute. Yes.
I was trying to jump in, but the mic cut me off. About like how we can test something new and out of the box thinking is I love we call it a creative diffusion process. So when we see certain mechanics and patterns being transferred from one vertical, from one industry to another one, so we can see some patterns that came from gaming and they're working for health and wellness, or like the opposite. So it's a great way, and we do such sessions for our partners when we just say, hey guys, man, you've been doing so much stuff from your vertical, you're definitely like top players in your field, but let's have a look at what the other industries do, and let's get some inspiration.
Can you share some examples?
I love the split screen. You
mean big screen, or like a TV?
Yeah. So a great example, like split screen stuff. We have like split screen pattern working for gaming a lot, right? So we know it, like let's play reviews and stuff, and it's that can be easily implemented to health and wellness. When we show like exercise and we show how it works, how it affects your muscles, how it affects your body at the moment when you do such an exercise, or a different one from health and wellness to gaming. We've got like this pattern working for health and wellness for a long time about like 28-day challenge and stuff, right? And we can see how nowadays it's widely used by brain games. Hey, it's your 28-day challenge to become smart.
I've seen some recently.
Yeah. So these are great examples of how.
And what about taking from influencers? Like, I mean, looking at things like Beast Games, or there was the one that sort of goes and interviews people driving out of buildings with luxury cars and stuff, and how did you get to drive those cars and that kind of thing. Like, do you take sort of ideas from all of those kind of areas, things that are working in that kind of viral sense of influencers, and trying to replicate that to a gaming way, or to an app way?
We also have like a setup usually on Andrei's page on LinkedIn, like covering the viral trends on TikTok, Instagram, and etc., and kind of highlighting how these organic trends can be implemented to the paid ads. So that's something we can use. And we have like a team who is responsible on scrolling and noticing.
We have special channel on Slack, and our team should share some videos. Our producers team should share some organic videos there every day. Everyone should share maybe 3 or 4 videos every day there.
Yeah, we call it Ninja Talk.
Yeah, we call it's Ninja Talk.
And we posted on the Andrew page on Monday, so follow over that. But talking about the crazy ideas, it's not like, split screen or a green screen is not something maybe too crazy, but sometimes we can also, like, if, for example, the company is okay with that and wants something risky and spicy, we can, brainstorm together and implement like a current trend or something, hitting the cars, or like having like something combined with the transitions of like, breaking the phone or something like this, something more actionable. And if the company is okay, because not every company is ready to risk,
Yeah, of course, of
that
course.
kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
we do love that. So once the company, we want something new outside the box, and we go in it and.
But in terms of, and I'm guessing in terms of UGC, the earlier you can adopt something new like that, the better it's going to perform, right? Because the moment it becomes viral as a YouTube video or something like that, you want to be on it so that you're collecting that sort of visibility for it.
True, definitely true. But I just wanted to add a thing about trends. There are like different types of it. We have global trends, we have like long-term trends, we have like the local trends, and we're speaking about like the fastest ones. Of course, the earlier you replicate them, you mimic them, the better the result is going to be. We got a great example we made with Habex. There was a trend like nobody's going to know on TikTok, so we use it as a hook. And there was like a huge success. We have become top 1% in the US in the utilities and category software, utilities and software category in the US with these ad in terms of performance metric, of course. Because we like that was made just in time. But there are global trends that these are like working yearly, right? And if we understand it, we can work with it as well. That's not going to be like as easy to get as like a trend to use specific sound on TikTok and stuff. It's more complicated, but it can be rewarding as well. We had a huge trend for nostalgia, right, recently. About like 80s, 90s and stuff. And using such things can help you to leverage your performance as well.
Okay.
Maybe you would even remember there were times when it was super popular, maybe a year or two ago, when there were ads for filming on the top of the toilet, like somebody's playing like during the toilet. Yes. So something like this, or like, ladies or guys having like a shave cream on the face and saying something. So that was like, now it's far past us, I would say. But at that time it was pretty major.
But do you think... Do you think
watching is key?
Sorry.
Then watching it at first, you should watch a lot TikTok or
to work with UGC. You need to
first,
rich visual experience to understand it.
But do you think like some of the larger corporate brands which can't move fast enough on this kind of thing, do you think they miss out because they're not able to get on board quick enough?
That's a good point, actually, because we're speaking about speed. It's always about a commitment that we have. Because especially speaking from the agency perspective, we can't do everything at once, right? So if we need to be fast, okay, guys, then we take the first talents ready to work. We don't like approve every word and stuff. The result is just we need these videos as fast as possible, right? So let's test it. So it's always about the balance. So what we want to focus on. If it's going to be speed, let's like probably the quality can be a little bit worse, right? Because we need to be fast. Or the price is going to be a little bit high.
But generally speaking, the larger companies will have like, it would probably need to be filtered through PR teams and that kind of stuff. So that inevitably causes a delay. When you're trying to move quickly, that may hamper the success of some of those, I guess.
But there is a great point, pros, I'd say, for working with a partner like us, for example, because when we settled up the process, we know we have some specific do's and don'ts, right? And the limits that we can't cross. And from that perspective, getting on the other side a little bit of creative freedom, we are able to move fast and bring the result and bring the content fast.
Very cool.
And also, like, there are some company, like the big ones, they sometimes even work with several, for example, partners at the same time. So they actually have an established, I would say, partnerships agreement.
The best way, I guess so.
Yeah.
So, makes sense. Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an educational experience, so it's been a good one.
Here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
I
a
like it.
pleasure.